What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with a GBA draft analysis. Now, I am not going to go into each and every team just based on how I feel they did and what teams I like the most and which ones I like the least. Instead, I am going to leave that for another video, which I'm going to leave in the description. And I am going to go ahead and instead do a couple of top 10s. Now, in this top 10 list, you are going to see Pokemons who I feel had the best value, Pokemon that I feel had the worst picks, and I am also going to go into how well each Mega I feel fits into that team. So, let's go ahead and jump right into the top 10 best value. Sitting at number 10, we have Superior, who was picked in round 6, 65th overall by Schady Penguin. I really feel like this pick was just a really good steal in the 6th round for Schady. Superior is very, very threatening in this format, as there aren't a whole lot of counters to it. And the counters that there are, you can just throw a random hidden power on it. So, really powerful, really fast, and really the only thing stopping it is, like, Choice Scarf, flying types, or like Ice Shard or something like that. So really, Superior is really worth being picked up a little bit higher than the 6th round. So I feel like where Schady got it, Superior is a really good fit. Number 9, we have Mesprit, who went in the 10th round, 114th overall to the San Francisco Giants. And Gym Leader Geo. I feel like this just alone, not even based on team fit, Mesprit is an amazing Pokemon in this format. It has the ability to go offensive, defensive, or set up hazards and whatnot. It can set up spikes or screens. It can still do things offensively with Calm Mind. It has 80, 105, 105 defenses, as well as 105 in both attack and special attack. So it still has the capabilities to do whatever it needs to do in order to succeed in this league, in my opinion. And going in the 10th round was a steal for Gym Leader Geo. Number 8, again, Schady Penguin. We have Honchkrow, picked in the 11th round, 128th overall. That was hands down one of the best picks in the draft. It fit Shady's team really well because he needed something else in order to deal damage, really. Honchkrow is really good in this format. Any super strong flying type or dark type is really good in this format, I feel like. And getting it 128th overall, that means 127 other Pokemon went before it. That's hands down one of the best value picks you can get in the draft. Number 7, we have Hippowdon. Round 10, 109th overall. First pick of the 10th round. Miguel, even though he really waited on it, he's reunited again with Mato. But that's really besides the point. He was able to wait until the 10th round to pick up Hippo. Now, nobody really had the capabilities to pick up Hippowdon after like round 5, I think. So that's why it's only sitting here at number 7. Otherwise, it would be much higher. Because Hippo, while it is a super strong, very consistent wall that can go on either side to just take any sort of hit thrown at it, besides a grass knot, of course, it's not living that. Hippo going in the 10th round was really good for Miguel. He waited on it to the point where he could make sure that he still got it and still got threats before it that were in the lower tiers that started going then. Number 6, we have Infernape. This is my only first round pick in this top 10. Now, I have Infernape here just because Hank got Infernape for a steal 100 points. Not because he got it in the first round, but Infernape in this format is I feel, definitely at least an OUB. The fact that he was able to get his BL Pokemon at a cheap 100 points in the first round and still pick up the super threats in Mega Pinsir and Excadrill after it was really huge for him, and it's going to set him up for great success, I feel like. So that's why I have Infernape at number 6. Number 5, I have Mega Charizard X for Cooper and the Utah Jasmine. It went round 11, second to last pick in the draft. Now, everybody had a Mega, so nobody else could really pick it up. Everybody else had chosen their Mega. And the only other Mega to go in the last round was Mega Swampert, but that's because it was a rain team, so nobody else was going to pick it. But the fact that Mega Charizard made it through every other team to get to Cooper made Mega Charizard X's value skyrocket. Now, the fact that it fits so well on Cooper's team also makes this such a great pick. Mega Charizard can do so much. It can set up, it can go bulky, and it can just straight up run through teams. It's a great Pokemon for Cooper to have, and the fact that he got it second to last in the draft makes it so much better. Number 4, we have another Mega Pokemon. This one being Steve's Mega Gardevoir. Round 9, 98th overall. Now, again, same sort of formula as Mega Charizard X. He was able to get it in round 9. Now, that in itself is a steal. Just something with such power, it has great synergy on Steve's team. And Mega Gardevoir is just hands down one of the best Pokemon in the format. The fact that he was able to get it in round 9 makes it just amazing for Steve, because that's going to be another mon that can come in, plow through Pokemon, which he's going to need in order for Landorus or Latios or whatever else he has to come in and sweep late game, unless he wants to sweep with Mega Gardevoir late game, which would be scary in itself. So that's why I have Mega Gardevoir at number 4. Number 3, we got Hank the Pidgey's pick of Tornadus T in round 9. I feel that Tornadus T is one of the best genies, in the fact that it is only an OUB in this format makes it so much better, and that everybody else had skipped over it makes it even better. Tornadus T has a great speed tier at 121, outspeeding a lot. And, well, it outspeeds everything it needs to besides Talonflame and Weavile and Jolteon and Mega Manectric. So that's like 4 things it doesn't outspeed. But Tornadus T can do so much for Hank. It's another rock type weakness, but the fact that he already had 2 Regenerator Mons, adding a 3rd one in round 9 with such offensive capabilities makes Tornadus T one of the absolute best value picks in this draft. Number 2, again, Hank the Pidgey, getting Mega Pinsir in round 4. Mega Pinsir is, in my opinion, the best Mega next to Mega Venusaur in this format. Mega Pinsir falling to round 4, while also having Excadrill and Latias on his team, makes Mega Pinsir just outright the best sweeper that Hank could have wished for on his team. Mega Pinsir is such a threat in this format that getting it at... Let's get rid of that on my screen. Hold on. Mega Pinsir is such a threat in this format that getting it at round 4, it basically plows through any sort of team, especially with Infernape and Excadrill by its side. So Mega Pinsir in round 4 is the number 2 on this top 10. Number 1 on this list is John's pick of Kyurem B. Kyurem Black is gotta be one of the best Pokemon. I expected it to go early on in either mid to late first round, possibly even the second round at the very latest. But I didn't hear it called until the very last pick of the fourth round. Kieran Black is so good. It can go physical, it can go special. That base 170 attack stat is so good. Its only downfall is its weakness to rocks, lack of priority, and just lack of speed. Base 95 still though is very good. And you can throw a choice scarf on it, you can throw an assault vest on it, and it's going to get some... It is almost a guaranteed kill or two each match that it's in, unless the other person is over prepared for it. Now, Kieran Black is just Kieran Black. Like, there's nothing else you can get with that. It's just really good. Going fourth round made John's team so much better in the fact that he was able to get a fairy dragon steel core, with the fairy being Sylveon and the dragon being Kieran Black, both of which are the best fairy and the best dragon in the format, in my opinion at least. And he is just... he needed something to just plow through things, and that's exactly what he got in Kieran Black, which makes this the overall best value pick in the draft. Moving on, we have the overall worst picks, in which I felt were the based on team structure, where it was drafted, or the Pokemon's viability, were the worst picks in the draft. I'm also going to include picks that weren't made, or things that people did throughout their draft that made their draft even worse. So number 10, I'm just going to start out very simple. Vivillon, round 11, 129th overall. It's a good place for it to go, but it should have gone undrafted. It's really bad, and the fact that it was even picked up, even considered, makes this a bad pick. Number 9, we have Muck. Now, Muck, it does get Sucker Punch. It is somewhat bulky, but it lacks coverage, and it's weak to ground. Ground weaknesses are very bad in this league, because so many things can carry Earthquake, and as well as a league that's dominated by Psychic types, because there's a really long list of good Psychic types. Muck is not going to be that great in the format. Going in the 10th round was a good place for it to go if it were to get picked. I just do not feel like Muck was a good pick. Number 8 is going to be not a Pokemon, but it's going to be a lack of a Pokemon. The San Francisco Giants did not pick up a single special attacking water type outside of Politoed. Now, Politoed, I do not feel should be even considered to be a special attacking water type, because if you throw a Choice Specs on it, it doesn't have its Damp Rock. Damp Rock is really useful on a rain team, and if you throw Choice Specs on Politoed, it's going to decrease its survivability, and it's going to make it just... it's going to die quicker, and you don't really want that, because you want to keep your rain up as long as you can if you're a rain team. Now, of course, he can have a secondary rain setter on his team, but the fact that Politoed sets it up for free every time it comes in makes it so much better, and being able to increase its survivability makes it even better. So that's all it needs to do, and if you want to throw Hydro Pump on it, go for it, but it's not going to really help in too many situations, I feel. Number 7, we have Claydol. Went in the 9th round, 106th overall. Claydol sucks. It's really, really bad. That's all I'm going to leave it at. It's just a bad Pokemon. I do not like that it was even considered. And even though it gets Rapid Spin and Levitate, it's just weak to so many different types that it makes it so bad. Moving on, number 6 was Dan's pick of Kling Klang. In the 10th round, 115th overall. Kling Klang lacks the coverage that it needs, and honestly, the only thing I can see it doing in this format is grabbing momentum with Volt Switch. And if somebody switches in a ground type on predicted switch, it's doomed. Kling Klang, even though it does get gear grind and gear shift, it's not really going to do anything for it. Kling Klang lacks necessary coverage, and it gets walled very, very easily in this format. Kling Klang was a terrible pick, and I really hope that you see this, Dan, and I hope you look at yourself and you're like, wow, Kling Klang was a bad pick. And you're probably going to around week 3. Yeah, there's that. Coming in at number 5, it's not just one pick that the Detroit Steel Wings didn't make, it's a whole bunch of picks they didn't make. They left 120 points to draft with on the table. I don't really know what they were thinking. They waited until the 11th round to draft an RU Pokemon, which means they couldn't have picked up anything. They were forced to pick an RU in round 11 when they had spent, 3 picks in earlier rounds on NU Pokemon? Just, Detroit Steel Wings are not looking too hot. They left 120 points on the table that could be used towards more threatening mons instead of, say, Mega Beedrill or, I don't even remember what else he had. But it's just Weezing. Oh yeah, he had Claydol too, didn't he? Yeah, the Detroit Steel Wings, that was not a smart move. Number 4 is Meloetta. I did not understand this pick at all. He already had Alakazam. He already had Jirachi to take special hits. And then he also had Hawlucha as a fast fighting type if he wanted to use Meloetta Pirouette form. I really feel like Meloetta is good in the format, but based on team structure alone, Meloetta made absolutely no sense. Completely redundant with his team structure, and he could have used those. He could have used those points in order to get something else. Say, what was picked after it? I don't know. Either way, Meloetta in the 6th round was a good place for it to go. It just didn't go to the right team. He could potentially use it as a trade chip, but it was not a good pick. Number 3, I'm going to have to put Molvone not investing in more hazard removal. Hazard removal on a team that looks so weak to rocks and being Talonflame, Vivillon, and a whole bunch of things that can Volt Turn is his one biggest downfall. His only forms of hazard removal are Fortress, which is terrible, and Defog Gliscor, which means it can't have the Poison Heal. Poison Heal on Gliscor makes it just so good, and it's what makes Gliscor good. It can go offensive, but the fact that it is forced to run Defog on some weeks, it's lacking the coverage that it needs in order to be a good defensive mon or a good setup mon to pass, baton pass into things, which would be a good strategy, but he's not going to be able to use it because his team is so weak to rocks. Coming in at number 2 is another one of Dan's picks. This one, I don't know how to explain it. He picked Nidoqueen, round 8, 91st overall, and Nidoking went undrafted in this format, or in this draft. How do you let Nidoqueen go over Nidoking? Nidoking is so good. I don't understand. Dan, the added bulk from Nidoqueen is not going to help. The added pressure, offensive pressure that you really need on your team, added by Nidoking, and the ability to set up rocks, makes Nidoking so much better than Nidoqueen. Nidoking does everything that Nidoqueen does except for take, I don't know, a play rough. That's all it really... I mean, if you were looking for something to take a play rough, you could have probably used the Kling Klang, Potentially. But, I mean, Nidoking is so much better than Nidoqueen, and you left it on the table. I do not understand that at all. The added speed, the added power that Nidoking provide make it so much better than Nidoqueen, and I do not agree at all with the pickup of Nidoqueen. Coming in at number 1, worst pick of the draft, Mega Beedrill in the first round, 10th overall. You picked something that was going to go undrafted in the first round. Absolutely nobody besides Joe in Season 3 would have considered Mega Beedrill because of how bad it is. Joe, I feel, at least had a plan for it. I see that you're going for Fast Volturn with Mega Beedrill and Jolteon. But, I mean, Mega Beedrill in the first round was not worth it at all. You could have spent it on something else that you could have had in order to make your team so much better. You drafted Skarmory and Clefable, good defensive mons, but your team is lacking in... It's lacking in just raw power. Like, Mega Beedrill is easily walled by a whole lot of teams. Every team has an answer for Mega Beedrill. I just did not agree at all with the pickup of Mega Beedrill, especially in the first round. Mega Beedrill, first round. Terrible place, terrible Pokemon. Absolute worst pick of the draft. Now, moving on into what I feel the grading of the Megas were. I am going to grade them on team fit of the overall structure of the team, when it was drafted, and also based on how good it is in the format. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm just going to go in order of the way I see them. Not really based at grades, I'm just going on teams. So starting off, we have the Pelipper's first overall with Mega Venusaur. I felt this was an A+. Mega Venusaur is totally worth the number 1 overall pick. Mega Venusaur is one of, if not the best Mega in the format. And the fact that John was able to build around it, getting a Fire, Water, Grass core with the Mega Venusaur included, as well as a Fairy, Dragon, Steel core with that added Poison defensive typing in there, makes Mega Venusaur so good on John's team. He did an excellent job drafting, and he drafted so well around Mega Venusaur that it's going to thrive, and I really don't see him losing more than 2 games. I would be surprised if he even lost 2 games in the regular season. I see him making the championship just based on the way that he drafted, and I know that he's a good player, good planner, and good battler. That's everything that makes him a good battler, and good in this GBA. And Mega Venusaur on his team is going to be just absolutely fantastic. Next up, we have the Sawsbucks with Mega Gardevoir, picked at 98th overall. I'm giving this one a solid A. Mega Gardevoir is a really amazing Pokemon in this format, as well as it fit amazingly on Steve's team. However, I do feel like there are better Megas, which is why I'm giving Steve only an A. It would be an A+, but it's just my personal view on Mega Gardevoir. I don't feel it's all too fast, and it's still really frail, which leads me to just rank it a little bit lower on my own rankings. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Piratas, picking Mega Alakazam, 75th overall. I'm going to give this one a B. Mega Alakazam is not the best Mega in this format. It is really strong and really fast. However, it is still really frail. The extra bulk that it got from its Mega, it still didn't make Alakazam that much better. It's really weak to Sucker Punch, or just any sort of strong priority. And it's just, I feel like there were definitely better Megas out there for him to pick. Mega Gardevoir was actually still around, and he could have had that instead, which I feel would have been a little bit better on his team at least. So that's why I leave Mega Alakazam with a B. Next up, I'm going to say the Mega Altaria pick by the Rockies at 4th overall was an A. This, I really feel like Nips did a great job building around Mega Altaria. He got a Steel Trapper and Magnezone. He got Fairy Steel Dragon Core with Fairy and Dragon being on Mega Altaria. And then he got the Jirachi, which deals with a lot of the checks to Mega Altaria, as well as he has Alakazam, which can come in and avenge anything that wants to take out or take on Mega Altaria. And he has a Hawlucha, which, wait, is this the right team that I'm talking about? Yeah, it is. Okay. And I just overall feel like Mega Altaria is a great fit on this team. He did a really good job building around it. The rest of the team, like, if it wasn't just supporting Mega Altaria, is subpar, but the fact that Mega Altaria is there makes this team instantly much better. Next up, the Winnipeg Aquajets pick of Mega Pinsir at 44th overall, I'm also going to give an A+. Mega Pinsir, again, in my own opinion, one of the best Pokemon overall in this format. And the fact that he was able to get both Spin and Defog support right before it, as well as Healing Wish support in order to revive it late game. It's just so good. A+. I don't know what else to say besides the fact that he got hazard removal. He has a really good regenerator core going with an Amoonguss and Alomomola, thrown in Torn T, but it's not really a defensive core mon. And he's just, I don't know, Mega Pinsir's just really good fit on his team, and it's a really good mon overall. Next up, I'm going to look at the Mega Sableye pick of the Rampardos at 54th overall. I'm going to go ahead and give this pick an A, only because Mega Sableye is really good in this format, and Dan does have, without it, his defenses are very lackluster, but with it, the combination of Mega Sableye, Chansey, and Mew, along with Volcarona, and possibly Gourgeist as well, make the Mega Sableye pick so much better. Mega Sableye with Chansey is a disgusting core that only, I think only Lopunny can really beat it reliably. Otherwise, you're going to have to play around it. I guess Mega Altaria can beat it as well, but that's besides the point. Mega Sableye is really good with Magic Bounce, and it's really good with that first turn priority, because you do have to Mega Evolve on the first turn that it's in. But Mega Sableye is just, I don't know. Mega Sableye is a good pick. Good job, Dan. You did something. Next up, the Giantes pick of Mega Swampert at 127 overall. I'm just going to give this one a B+. It's a good Mega, but the fact that it doesn't get Swift Swim before it Mega Evolves, and the fact that it's only base 60 before it Mega Evolves, and I don't know, Mega Swampert, I feel like in this format is very easy to prepare for, but as soon as all its checks are removed, it can straight up sweep as long as the rain is still up. The problem is getting its Mega off, and a lot of the players I feel like are going to plan accordingly based on Mega Swampert, because it only does one thing. So yeah, there's that. Next up is the Mankey's pick of Mega Scizor, 8th overall at A-. I mean, I felt like Mega Scizor was a good pick, and I myself have it on my own MPL team. I'm going to give this one an A-. Mega Scizor, even though it is very good, the 4 times weakness to fire is just a little too much. Mega Scizor is really good. Besides that, it just lacks a little bit of speed. Because base 75 speed, while still okay, is not super fast. And the 4 times fire weakness just leaves it very susceptible to just die very quickly. Next up, we are going to go with the Loudred's pick of Mega Man Ectric at 9th overall. I'm giving this one a B. Mega Man Ectric is good in the format, but I don't feel like it's first round material. I understand that he got it because he really likes it and it's good in the format, but he didn't build his team necessarily around it very well because he doesn't have a whole lot of hazard removal, and if he's going to constantly Volt Turn with Mega Man Ectric, it's going to be taking a whole lot of hazard damage, and it's going to die very easily, especially with the right special defensive support on the opponent's side. So yeah, that's why I have Mega Man Ectric as a B. Next up, we have the Steel Wings, Mega Beedrill, 10th overall, F. Next up, we have the Utah Jasmine at Mega Charizard X at second to last pick in the draft. I'm giving this one an A. Great team structure for Megazard to thrive, and he does, like, let's take a look. He has Wish support. He has the ability to paralyze things with Whimsicott. He has things to take both ground and rock type moves, as well as some dragon type moves in Togekiss and Whimsicott. And Aggron pairs really well with Mega Charizard because between the two of them, AGD-Ron and Mega Charizard will just plow on through basically everybody. Especially with that disgusting but oh so beautiful defensive core that Cooper always seems to build. Mega Charizard is going to make a great late game sweeper, and it was a great pick for him. Next up, we have the Real Marill picking Mega Lopunny 36th overall. I'm giving this one an A-. A- because I do feel like Mega Lopunny is somewhat lacking in this format. I do really like it. I don't know how I feel about it in this format. I feel like it just doesn't do enough, is my personal opinion. I know that it has like almost no resistances to its high jump kick and return combo, which is fine, but I mean, I don't really see it doing a whole too much outside of that. Paired with Hydreigon and Victini though, Mega Lopunny is a great pick, which is why I'm still giving it an A-. It fits really well on Miguel's team, especially with Hippowdon around as well. But the Real Marill are sort of, I don't know, Mega Lopunny's speed makes it even better, but it's just, I don't know how to feel about it, so I'm gonna give it an A- just because. Sorry, Miguel. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed, I'm going to probably be putting up my own thoughts on the GBA season as it pans out. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to see anything related to the GBA. I am also in the NPL, the league that I created in last September. So if you guys like GBA format, the GBA sort of format, go ahead and subscribe to see some of that as well. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, and I will see you guys next time.